here are the three trades that I could realistically see happening by the Thursday trade deadline. So the first one is Kyle Lowry to the Philadelphia 76ers. This is truly a match made in heaven. This was what was meant to happen all along. The Philadelphia 76ers, they need a true point guard. They absolutely need a floor general who can set the tone defensively for them. I know that Doc Rivers is infatuated with Kyle Lowry. He's an experienced veteran who has won an NBA championship. He knows what it takes to get there. He shoots the three ball well. He defends at a high level. He distributes the basketball, and he opens up the floor for some of these other players like Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris to go to work. He played his college ball at Villanova. He's from Philadelphia. So this would be the ultimate reunion at the perfect time of the year and of his career, chasing another NBA championship, but this time with his hometown city. The 76ers are craving an NBA championship, and now they finally have the team that appears poised to make that push, the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. So I would love to see Kyle Lowry on the Philadelphia 76ers. We know that there have been trade discussions involving Kyle Lowry so far, especially specifically with the Philadelphia 76ers. So I would anticipate that this would happen. He provides championship mettle, tenacity that the entire team would rally around. So second trade that I see happening is Victor Oladipo to the New York Knicks. I talked about this in the offseason. Why does this make the most sense? This makes the most sense because the Rockets have acknowledged that they are in the process of shipping away Victor Oladipo. Well, who would take a chance on trading for a guy in Victor Oladipo unless they know without a shadow of a doubt that he is going to stay with them in the offseason? The only two teams that are of the mindset that they can retain Victor Oladipo this offseason if they were to trade prematurely for him midseason are the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat. And the Miami Heat have been reluctant to trade away some of those pieces, knowing that Victor Oladipo in the offseason will likely sign there. Yes, he's expressed a lot of interest in New York, but I believe, along with other media experts, that the Miami Heat are the likely favorites to land Victor Oladipo if it gets to the offseason. So the New York Knicks are the sixth seed in the Eastern Conference. They understand where his number one desire is, but that he'd be happy to play in New York. And they need to pair a proven commodity, a proven all-star with Julius Randle right now, even if that means parting ways with RJ Barrett or Emmanuel Quickley. I'm not sure who they would necessarily have to trade away, but I think that it's entirely plausible that the New York Knicks say, hey, you know what? We don't want to wait till the offseason. We're going to go ahead and make this trade now. And I could easily see them doing that in the next couple of hours. So that is number two. And then not to mention, the Houston Rockets are just accumulating draft picks and accruing draft capital. That's all they've been doing. They're stockpiling right now, just waiting for the right time to utilize all these picks at their disposal and to fire off this salvo. So we're just still waiting, but I anticipate that could be a second trade that could happen. The third and final trade is another member of the Toronto Raptors in Norman Powell, who I talked about in the hypothetical trades. I really like Norman Powell. I know I have a little bit of a bias because he's a UCLA guy, but he's averaging 20 points per game on 43% shooting from the three-point line, a career high for Norman Powell. This is a guy who could immediately come in and provide a huge spark for the Denver Nuggets. So we're talking about trading Norman Powell to the Denver Nuggets. I talked about just a minute ago, they need a bona fide consistent scorer. The problem was DeMar DeRozan seemed a little bit hypothetical, a little unrealistic. Not to mention, the Nuggets need a third piece that won't overshadow Jokic or Murray, and ideally would enable them the ability to retain Michael Porter Jr. I think that Norman Powell is just low priority enough that he won't command Michael Porter Jr. in exchange for his services. And I think that if that's the case and the Denver Nuggets can get their hands on another creative and consistent scorer who can produce double-digit points for you all throughout the regular season, and then you know what he can do in the postseason, that's exactly the type of fit that Mike Malone, Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray need. He is an unselfish basketball player. He defends hard. He's tough. He's a gritty player. And I think that he would fit perfectly with the Denver Nuggets. And I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if he's traded there before the trade deadline. Not to mention Masai Ujiri, the current president of basketball operations for the Toronto Raptors, was the former general manager of the Denver Nuggets. So he'd likely be willing to do business with them again and vice versa. So I see that being a potential trade. Not to mention, again, they have to match the production that was lost from Jeremy Grant a season ago. No one's been able to come in and do that. Michael Porter Jr., while he's shown flashes, has not been consistent enough. And that's been the biggest impediment to the Denver Nuggets so far